Welcome friends to this video. We're going to be learning how to draw the hamstring muscles. There's a couple parts to this video. First, we're going to draw them in the posterior or the rear view, and then we'll take a look at the side or the lateral view. Now, if you take a look at this figure I have here on the right, we're starting at the posterior view, and you can see that there's only 3 of actually 4 hamstring muscles. So if I go ahead and hide the first muscle, you can kind of see the 4th muscle here, which we'll actually take a look at when we get to the side view. But for now, we're going to start with this one, and it is called the Bicep Femoris. Now let's go ahead and take a closer look here. And what I have here is my started as skeleton. I have the hips and the femurs. If you need help with the skeleton, I have a couple videos that I'll reference in the description to help you get started with the landmarks and the proportions of the skeleton. So first thing I'm going to do before I draw this muscle is draw the tendons where they're going to have the insertion point. And the tendons are going to be right on the outside of the knee. And they actually are the most important landmark. If you feel on the back of your knee and you feel on both sides, you'll actually feel those tendons, and those are the most visible. So I'm going to mark those in here, and so we can have a reference to them. Now that we have the tendons, I'll go ahead and switch colors and we'll draw the bicep femoris, starting here at the point of origin at the hip, and it is going to curve over the femur and then come down and attach to that tendon. And then it's going to come down a bit to about 1/3 of the way and then curve over and attach to the tendon. And so I'll go ahead and label this bicep femoris. Now, as far as movement goes, this muscle is in charge of hip extension and knee flexion. So what that means is if you imagine this is my waist, it's going to pull the hip back. So that is called the hip extension. And then it's going to pull the knee, that's called knee flexion. So imagine if you're flexing your arm, you're pulling it, it's gonna be pulling your knee, that's knee flexion. And then your hip is extension, it's extending your hip. All right, now that we have that muscle, let's go on to the next one. And we're going to do the one that's a little more hidden behind. And this one is called the Semimembranosus. And let's go ahead and take a closer look at this one. I'm going to change colors now. And it originates at pretty much the same point of the hip there. And it comes out a little bit. And this one is going to be more visible on the inside. And then it curves down and attaches the interior tendon. And then it's going to come right along the side of the bicep femoris and then curve in and down toward the tendon. And I did forget that, let's go ahead and draw the other side here for symmetry so we can kind of practice. So it comes over and down and then over like this. And then we'll switch over here and do this one. It's going to come in and around and then down and like that. All right. And I'll go ahead and label this one the Semimembranosus. And this one is also the same movement as the other hamstring, and that is the hip extension and the knee flexion. All right, now we have one more muscle to go from this view. We'll go ahead and highlight. We'll take a closer look at that one. And I'll change color once more. This one is also going to start at the similar point, and it's going to come straight down. It's not going to cover the semimembranosus as much, and it's going to curve in and then attach to that tendon. And then it's going to come in closer to the femur and then curve down. So we'll do the other side here, kind of come straight down, close and attach to that tendon, and then curve in and attach there. And this one is called the Semitendinosus. And as far as movement, this one also does the same hip extender and knee flexion. Now that we have all the muscles from the posterior view, let's go ahead and take a look if we turn them to the side and look at the lateral view. And you'll see that we'll have a couple muscles visible, and this is the one I was talking to you about earlier, and let's take a closer view of this one. And this is the other part of the bicep femoris. So we're gonna now draw that muscle. And first I'll start with the tendon. So it overlaps here of the condyle of the femur, and it comes up quite a bit there. And then I'll switch colors here. And this one only goes up just above half point. It comes right down along the femur and connects into that tendon. And then it comes kind of at an angle straight down. So there's not much to that muscle right there. And it also does the same movement of the hip extender and the knee flexor. So now, and they also do some rotation of the knee as well. So let's do the last muscle here. Take a closer look at it. The bicep femoris from the lateral view. And this one is pretty simple. It attaches up here at the hip and it comes straight down to that tendon, and then it follows the femur at a curve right in there like this. So that one's pretty straightforward. All right, I will wrap it up there. As always, thank you for watching, and I appreciate your support. So make sure you comment if you have any suggestions or questions. I am working my way through anatomy, and I can't wait to share those. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on any of those. And I can't wait to see you in the next video. So long.